Show me a shopping mall and I'm happy. That's a famous quote from Hollywood superstar Julia Roberts. Hello, I'm veteran British actor Sir Byron Dalton, and behind me here rests the Metcalfe South Shopping Mall. Now, when this magnificent structure was opened in August of 1967, here in the heart of the quaint Midwestern hamlet of Overland Park in Kansas, no one on earth could have fathomed the amount of joy and wonderment this monolith of deliciousness would bring to so many people for so many years. To paraphrase Sir Winston Churchill, never in the field of human commerce have so many owed so much to one mall. Sadly, after almost 50 years, the time has come to say farewell. The Metcalfe South Mall is slated to close its doors forever in the coming weeks. The hands of time have become the hands of doom. In these Metcalfe South's final days, we have invited back several former employees, friends and customers of the Metcalfe South Mall so that they can have one last chance to relive their past and say their goodbyes to one of their oldest and dearest friends. We will get the chance to meet these storytellers and reminisce along with them. This is their story, and in some ways this is the story of us all. This is Metcalfe South Memories.
Metcalfe South. Metcalfe South. Metcalfe South. Metcalfe South. You're a part of the Metcalfe family, not just a face in the crowd. Yeah, you're a part of the Metcalfe family. Now let's all sing it aloud. You come to shop, you come to walk, you bring your kids, you bring your dog, homie. Metcalfe South memories. Metcalfe South. Metcalfe South memories.
Sitting ever so stoically on the corner of 95th Street and Metcalfe Avenue, Metcalfe South Mall was an 800,000 square foot beacon of light and goodness in a foggy port. The gathering place, if you will, for the lost, the young, the old, the thrifty, and the hungry. And the amount of smiles this mall would create on the faces of precocious children and teenage lovers is incalculable.
You know, back in 1964, when we were looking for a place to build Metcalfe South, there was nothing out here at all. It just you know, farmland as far as the eye could see. And a few dairy barns and some old cheese factories. Let me tell you something about a cheese factory. You don't have to see it. You know it's there. Oh, cheese, you know. At any event, we finally decided to build it at the corner of 95th Street and Metcalfe. It was called Old Metcalfe Holler back then. It was just nothing, you know, it was just alive with cows and chickens, muskrats. Oh, a lot of muskrats. When I first proposed building an indoor mall, people were just dumbfounded. They look, you know, I mean, it's going to be inside. We can shop in February. It's going to be 72 degrees, even no ice, no snow, no rain, no slush, no grasshoppers in August, you know, no plague of locusts. And I'd look at him and I'd go, correctamundo. And we'll have tacos. Never forget We had DJs and pony rides, cookies for the kids, and it was a perfect day, except for we had this mountain of Topsy's popcorn, and this kid just disappeared into it, and we were all laughing, and then everybody pointed out he didn't come out, and so we had to send divers into the popcorn. The kid pulled down the whole mountain, and they never found that kid.
My name's Carl Sunderman, and for years, about 30 years, I was on staff at some capacity at the mall here. Started actually in a shoe store here, but just had a vision for entertainment happening in and around this place. It was an entertaining place, but we needed to organize that. And so I talked to the powers that be, and I actually ended up over the years getting a job as the assistant director to entertainment and marketing here at this fine establishment, and served many years there. I loved it. I was able, with my musical abilities, to compose a couple of Metcalf South theme songs that were featured in some of our television commercials, which was really an honor. Yeah, I'd love to play it for you. So, yeah, it's been a long time. You hear that? You like that?
Carl Sunderman, this was probably, sometimes you just get lucky in a hire. He's the one who hired all that entertainment I told you about. And he would sponsor talent contests. And now there's what America's Got Talent, but we did it back then. And all kinds of things. We saw players and whistlers and a guy who could play glass. Anyhow, then Carl started playing with him piano. And it turned out he could play piano. And after a while, among the other things, sometimes on Friday nights, you just come in and listen to Carl.
He would let you get on the piano and sing with them. It was a ton of fun. And then I'd lay on the piano, and I'd try to get like a crowd of people around. And because I'm good at getting crowds to come.
Oh.
Metcalf South. What was the question?
Heather Miller.
Veronica.
Well, we worked at Jones Store Makeup Counter. Well, it used to be Jones Store.
Yeah. We worked there since we were oh my God, what year was it? God, were we sophomores?
Yeah.
Were we sophomores? I spent summers doing clowning, and I felt like it really informed my color palette. Using blues, purples, bringing out all the yellow in your skin, because yellow is a really good color you want to bring out.
My name's Craig Brewer. I was a Metcalf South customer, specifically mostly pertaining to Clint South, the comic book store. It was my favorite mall mostly because I didn't have access to any other mall. I used to live just across the parking lot here on the other side of the fence. There's a neighborhood back there where I lived with my dad, and on Saturdays I would jump over the fence and walk over and just kind of explore the mall and get to know the people and talk to strangers, and that's when I discovered comic books. That's where I discovered Clint South. And then shortly after that, after my mother died, my father and I moved from the neighborhood on the other side of the parking lot to a place further away, and I would have my dad drive me here on Thursdays to buy comic books. Metcalf South to me was always my best friend that moved away, except I was the one who moved away, and so I'd have to go see him when my dad was in a good mood. Sometimes, if my dad was in a good mood, he would take me to Walden Books, because he wanted me, what he called actual books, he wanted me to read actual books. So he bought me a lot of military war novels, Tom Clancy, that and the like. Did a girl just walk by? Was that a girl or a boy? Sorry, is this a girl? I did go to the Nickelodeon arcade next door to Clint South a lot. They had a very violent video game there called Splatterhouse that my dad would actually like to play, and he would get a stool, and even though I was big enough to reach the buttons, he would still put me on his knee, and I would hold the button that would move the guy, and he would hold the button that operated the machete. I did have one brief mall romance, if you could describe it that way. There was a girl who worked at Kriegel's who I would pass by, and I almost said hello one time, but I would walk by Kriegel's every visit, and I called her Mary Jane because that was like, she was my Mary Jane.
My name is Abigail Zism, and I worked in many places at the mall. I worked in the used book sale. Most notably, I organized the used book sale, and for one summer I worked at Kriegel's. There was a very rich restaurant culture. Cinnamon Sam's, Orange Julius, Smacks, hamburgers, at Charlie Chan's, Chinese food, Pappy's Barbecue. There was nearly famous pizza, but it wasn't famous enough and it closed. Brown's Chicken is where I lost my finger virginity. My chicken finger virginity. Their chicken fingers were delicious. One of the things that is so special about Metcalf South is that there are many places to read. I like to call them my book nooks, and they can be found all over the mall. This is very special, and no other mall has this feature. Book nook. Book nook. Book nook. Book nook. Book nook.
Hi there, my name is Miss Lauren Bell, and I was Miss Metcalf South from 1985 to 1989.
She won it like 5 years in a row.
5 years in a row.
A lot.
That's a lot.
Well, first of all, a lot of it's just genetic. I mean, not everyone's born with hair like this, or with eyes or lips or nostrils. It's just something that kind of comes together as a package.
My name is Ted Fantastic. Ted the Fantastic, Ted Spectacular, or Ted Schwartz. I worked at the Gap. I was their clothing model, so I stood outside and I was the guy who got customers to come in because they thought I had a magnificent body.
I'm not sure what year it was now, but obviously they were just having some issues selling, so we decided let's bring people to their storefront by having this amazing magician, and we scoured the country, really at least the Kansas City area, looking for the perfect guy.
We both dated him.
Ted the Magnificent. I can't speak.
Well, it's not even worth it. He called himself Ted the Magnificent. And he was not anything magnificent.
Just like,
You won't believe how many women love magic, especially this trick. So women love the quarter trick, where I make the quarter disappear, right?
This was the very spot. I stayed here crying for about 12 hours after Ted broke up with me. He pulled a breakup note from behind my ear.
For a 2-week period, I had a love affair with a magician named Ted Schwartz.
5 of spades.
Before I started mall walking, I weighed about 350 pounds. And I had to wear clothes from Lane Bryant, if you can believe that. Metcalf South and mall walking saved my life. I'm forever grateful. Well, my name is Pat Finstrom, and my husband Dan and I moved down here in 1989. He had a job transfer. He works at Russell Stover's. And so we really just love this area, and you know, after the kids left to go to college, I just really didn't have anything to do. And, you know, all I do is sit around and watch Dan breathe and eat and fix his lawnmower, and that's just, that's no way to live. So I decided, you know, Pat, just get up off your butt and do something about it. So I started a Mall Walkers Club here at Metcalf South Mall, and got quite a following. A lot of the actors and staff members of the Martin City Melodrama, you know, walked with me. Dr. Randy, the puppeteer, he really liked to walk with me, and Gus, the merman performer. So, a lot of good memories here, a lot of good memories. Well, you know, the mall was just always so alive, not like right now, but, you know, sometimes we'd like to go play in the fountains with the kids. You know, the kids really liked our mall walking moves and things like that.
You first, I insist.
My name is Tommy Pizzadopoulos. I worked at Original Pizza, and that's the name. My last name and the place that I worked had nothing to do with each other, because my mom was just an Italian Greek, and my dad was just plain old American.
And my name is Tony Shalhoub, but not that one.
Yeah,
different Tony Shalhoub.
He's like probably the 5th on the list of Tony Shalhoubs in the nation.
I worked also at Original Pizza as well.
We were the pizza guys. People know us as the pizza guys.
They would say, "Aren't you the pizza guys?" We'd say,
Tony
"Yeah."
and Tommy, and we'd say, "Yeah, we Tony and Tommy.
We're Tommy and Tommy, pizza guy.
We're Tommy and Tony.
Tommy and Tony.
Sometimes they call us that because we mix them up. Sometimes we get a little on the job, you know. Because once you get popular and the mall is your oyster, then yeah, you're gonna have some fun just every once in a while on a Monday night. That's the place you'd go to make out with girls.
The Christian Science reading room.
Yeah, you could either read about Christian Science,
or
you
make
could
out.
make out with girls.
This was like my home away from home because I didn't have a home, so it was more like just my home. End of sentence.
Yeah, there was like a period there, like a tiny little dot, but if you blew it up, it'd be a pizza. The Royals win the World Series.
And we got slammed with people saying, "I would like a pizza, please, for me."
Yes, and they wanted a pizza that felt like a baseball game, so we put some dirt on it, we put some cotton candy on it. These are original.
We sliced up some little hot dogs, put them on there, and we charged them 4 times what any pizza should cost, just to make it seem authentic.
Absolutely. But the point is, that's the night we will never forget.
No.
Because of the money that we made.
Except for the parts that I've forgotten. We picked up all the pennies.
We just went, oh, there's a quarter. Like, get that quarter, get that nickel.
And I
were
was
talking about it.
Get the penny. Yeah, we coached each other. We gathered up a bunch of pennies.
Right, we took them all. And we
went up to Spencer's Gifts.
Spencer's Gifts. It's an adult store.
Yeah.
And we
for children.
We found this poster. It was glow in the dark with this girl who was glow in the dark.
She was glowing.
So you'd shine a flashlight on her for like a couple of hours, and then you'd turn it off, and
then you'd see
some stuff. So that was great.
It was wonderful.
Probably like 100 children's wishes didn't come true.
Oh yeah. I mean, probably like a kid like threw a penny in there and like got a horse, and then when we took it away,
the horse
he
died.
lost the horse.
Yeah. But you know what? We got to look at some boobage.
Oh, we did.
And that's worth 1 million children's horses.
I'm Artie Vulgaris. Yes, the Artie Vulgaris. And right here, I worked at Master Video from 1978 to about 1989. I was general manager, nighttime shift, right here at Master Video. Not only could you get just any kind of fantastic movie, but you could get a lot of adult movies on VHS. And yeah, I was kind of a connoisseur of the adult film. So people would come in and they'd have a little special code word. Sometimes they'd be like, I'd say, what are you looking for? And they'd be like, I'm looking for the fuzzy ducky. And I'd be like, the fuzzy ducky. So I had a little side business going on in the back, and it was cool. My family was cool with it. The other manager didn't really know about it. One time somebody came in asking for the Fuzzy Ducky movie, and I didn't know there was actually a movie called The Fuzzy Ducky, and that's what they were looking for. And I gave them some just awful, barely legal stuff. First time I kissed a Kansas girl, right here, Metcalf South. First time I saw a Hypercolor t-shirt, Metcalf South. First time I got punched in the nuts, Metcalf South. First time I punched somebody in the nuts, Metcalf South. Lost a tooth, it was here. You know how they always say, never forget where you were when they canceled Miami Vice? I'll never forget I was here. Met one of the loves of my life right here at Metcalf South. It all happened here, and I'm not exaggerating when I say, I mean, that was the best time of my life.
Can you tell me about your idea to bring in a merman to perform for the children in the fountains?
Yeah. Well, it actually came out of this one tragic accident where a kid fell in the fountain, and I received a handwritten note from his mother in the mail saying that he was now afraid of the fountains here because he'd fallen in, and we decided to actually help kids get over their fears of the fountains by bringing in a merman. We thought a mermaid might be a little too risque.
My name is Gus Van Heusen, but my name you might know me by here was the Marvelous Merman. You used to see me, actually, one of my main spots was right here in this little middle fountain area. I'd lay there and, the kids could throw their pennies, make wishes, and I'd wave at people and, generally just made them all a happier place.
I tried to take off his costume one time, wasn't a costume.
No, that guy was a mermaid.
Yeah.
At first I thought they were pelting me with pennies, and then I took it as like they're wishing really hard. And I'm a part of that, and that made me feel like I was just really a part of something special. It was an especially busy Saturday, Labor Day weekend, and a lot of kids were there, and a lot of kids were throwing pennies and making wishes, and a penny and a nickel hit the blowhole in my suit at exactly the same time, and it lodged, and that's where I breathed through my costume. And so I panicked, I freaked, I fell into the fountain, I sloshed around, I thought I was going to die. So the mall and I had a disagreement about, they thought I had traumatized children, and I felt like I was owed some free taco coupons, something for compensation because of the hazard of the suit. And we parted ways. It was sad, but I felt I needed to stick up for myself, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had.
I don't know if he passed out, what happened to him, but it kind of was, that was the end of the Memorial Day merman things, but up until then, it was wonderful.
My name is Alphonse, and I worked at Taco Villa. And this is my helper, Greg. We were a true, authentic Mexican restaurant. We serve very authentic Mexican food that we pride ourselves on. That's all we did at Taco Villa. Very authentic, except the taco burger and the taco dog. Those were for children. That's why we came up with those. But all of the items on the menu, we pride ourselves on being fresh, authentic, Mexican. Taco Villa started way back in the 1960s with my grandmother, Mrs. Villa. But she decided anyway to gather the recipes for the Sancho, the burrito, and the taco, of course. That's in our name, hence here on the bag, along with my grandmother. It's a picture. Her name was Mia Villa. Greg was the first person I hired at Taco Villa here in Metcalf South. And very loyal, very willing to learn, crazy willing to learn, but not all here, if I could say, in the head. He's like one taco short of a combo plate.
I hope tacos.
We would have the kids in after the movie or after they skateboard, and they come in and eat the food, but they also smoke their marijuana.
So I would take it upon myself to run them off. And I would just run them off and just tell them, get your tacos somewhere else, because it's not here.
But I said, no, listen to me. They smoke the marijuana and then they eat more. They get the, how do you say, the munchie. They get the munchie and they want to smoke and then they eat. So we clean up. Once people come in several times, they had their own personality and I know what they order. Carl Sunderman, 2 burritos every time.
Carl.
Oh, Gus the Merman had a combo. Taco, Sancho, Nacho. Dr. Randy was eating for 2 people because his puppet, believe it or not, I don't know where he put it, but the puppet would always have a Sancho. Dr. Randy, remember he would always have the 4 tacos and then a burrito. Do you remember Dr. Randy? Greg? He's a little sleepy.
Metcalfe South was known for its shining floors, its glorious fountains, amazing escalators, and its palatial stage and atrium area, where performers and celebrities from far and wide would come to entertain one and all. And oh, would they be entertained.
It was the place to be. It was, and Christmas we would fly Santa Claus in on a helicopter and land him in the parking lot outside, drop him right into a convertible. And one year, I know you might have read about this. So, Santa got tangled up in the ladder hanging from the helicopter, and then the ladder wrapped itself around a flagpole, and he gets her, Mama, that's Santa Claus, what's happening? What's happening to Christmas? But here's where I learned there is no publicity that's not good publicity. And we had a great Christmas, and that was a very exciting day.
Metcalfe South, everyone is going, gonna buy some stuff. Metcalfe South, everyone is going, everyone needs to get some stuff. You might want to stay for a while, you might want to stay for a while. You better bring money, you better bring a smile, cause it's Metcalfe South, come and stay for a while. It's Metcalfe South, come and stay for a while.
All great ancient edifices hold mysterious legends and lore of fantastical phantoms and unexplained paranormal phenomenon. And the halls of Metcalfe South are no exception. Many who have worked and walked the halls of Metcalfe South over the decades have encountered something or someone that cannot be explained. Like all legends, no one is quite sure what is fact and what is fiction. One fact is for certain: there is no greater ghost story than the story of the tale of the legend of the ghost of Metcalfe South Mall.
Well, that's kind of a loaded question, isn't it? Because if I say yes, I encountered a ghost, that makes me kind of a, woo woo woo.
I am a writer and an historian. I've written several books, nonfiction books, but the one of which I am most proud is this one, The Ghost of Metcalfe South. It is a true story of the actual ghost of Metcalfe South. He was a custodian here at Metcalfe South from 1978 to 1982 when he met his demise here. He was mopping upstairs by the Taco Villa. He slipped on a wet taco and he cracked his head.
Ernest Anderson was a great man. Unfortunately, I actually didn't get to know him alive, but I really felt like I connected with him, got to know him as a ghost. So he even continued to care for this place and loved this place long after he fell really far. It was a long fall.
So one day, Tommy here, he's taking what he calls a business bath, which is where you get in the fountain.
Yeah.
Because
and you just wash.
You just wash away all your bad business, and this ghost shows up.
Full on ghost.
Full on ghost.
You
like
could see right through him, but not so much that you couldn't see him in the first place.
Right, and like wiggling arms, the whole thing. He's got a broom, right? He's got a broom, and he starts doing like a shuffle with it, like a dance. And Tommy says to him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Get out." And then he gets out. You don't come to think that may have just been a janitor. That may have just been somebody telling you to get out.
Because the part where I could see through.
In 1974, Metcalfe South faced its greatest challenge when its main nemesis and competitor, the Oak Park Mall, was opened on the western edge of Overland Park. It would be a long, hard-fought battle through the late 70s and the 80s. A battle to the death that eventually Metcalfe South would lose.
Yeah, in 74, I believe one of the worst things that ever happened to Overland Park, Kansas happened. And they opened a second mall, the Oak Park Mall. It was really just, in every way, a cheap knockoff of what we were.
Oh, the Oak Park Mall. Those fancy schmancy. They have everything they want. Oh, I'm Oak Park Mall. Look at me. We went over to the Taco Villa in Oak Park Mall. They did not let us in the store. They said you smell like Metcalfe South.
Yes, Oak Park Mall would thrive, and by the mid-1990s, Metcalfe South's fate would be written on the walls. The family-friendly shops at Metcalfe South began to die, and they began to close their doors for all time. Shoppers began to leave Metcalfe South to seek out the newer, fancier shopping malls being built to the west and even further south, leaving a once glorious complex, an abandoned ghost town, a skeleton with no soul.
It's what's sad to me is that we don't really use pennies anymore, but this is a spot where pennies could be used, and where are they going to get used now?
To the people who came to the mall, you were like family. You treated me with love, and you let me be your wishes and dreams. To the management in 1991, when everything went down, well, you guys can go screw yourself.
That you were full of life and happiness and magic. Really, really full of magic. You just didn't know how good of magic you were full of at the time.
Well, we got a few words to say just to kind of memorialize.
Oh, Metcalfe South, you were so good. A warm embrace, like a sweater with a hood.
Oh, Metcalfe South, we honor thee for original pizza and spending sprees.
Oh, Metcalfe South, you were just the thing to lift my burdens and allow shoplifting.
Oh, Metcalfe South, we were pizza guys, made popular by our pizza pies.
Oh, Metcalfe South, I'd climb a mountain to get one last chance to lick that fountain.
It's good times, right?
A few. We had a few.
Think we could give it another shot? Baby, I think I could be your Metcalfe South.
Well, then I'm gonna shut you down.
Metcalfe South. It's just as beautiful as I remember it. Carl, Let's go to Oak Park Mall, get some tacos.
Let's go.
No one knows what the future holds for this structure, but one thing is certain: you will never take away the memory and the spirit of Metcalfe South from the many who lived and loved here. Metcalfe South, you leave this world a better place to live. Certainly there will be other malls, but there will never be another Metcalfe South. Sleep well, old friend, and rest in peace.
When Metcalfe South died, I thought that a part of me died too. But I found that that part is still alive. And it is alive in the great mall of the Great Plains. And I plan on staying here forever. I think the joy in this place means that it will never, ever close. Some of the girls at the Great Mall have a hobby that I have also begun to engage in. It is a form of dance called Zumba, and it is very special to me. Elk Nook. Feels like home.
Living in a photograph, I took a chance and I want it back. The living dead won't listen to what I say. Time travel to the year we met. I see the future and it makes me sweat. All I do is watch and run away. And I sit here thinking about you all through the night. Living in a photograph, I see my future and I start to laugh. There's a lost cause in everything. Time travel to the year we died. Shit so boring that I wanna sigh. Guess the living dead got their way.